Hello and welcome to Toastmasters Bay to Bay, featuring speakers hailing from San Francisco Bay all the way down to Monterey Bay. My name is Ann Teixeira and I'm hosting today's program. Today's program, we are going to have the opportunity to hear two speakers perform their prepared speeches. Additionally, we're going to have two evaluators hearing the speech for the first time will then stand up before all of us and give us some feedback, telling us exactly what did work about the speech, some pointers, some tips, and perhaps even those things that need improvement. Hopefully, we're all going to learn from that. I'd like to introduce our first speaker now. Our first speaker is Rita Barber. Rita is going to be speaking from the Speaking to Inform manual. And her speech is called Life's Lessons, not Life's Lessons, it is Job Lessons, but you could probably learn something about life as well, but Job Lessons at the Grocery Store. Rita, please come forward. We'd love to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now.
All right. How many people know someone who's currently looking for a job? Could I see a show of hands? Not surprising. The reality of it is many of us nowadays are either looking for a job or know someone who's looking for a job. I've been in the headhunting business now for over 20 years, and it's been my experience that there are some very simple lessons that we could all use that would help us be head and shoulders above the rest of the people that are out there applying for positions today. So I've got three different lessons I'm going to share with you today. Lesson number one is going to be know your audience. Lesson number two is align yourself with the best. And lesson number three is know where the good stuff is being sold. Lesson number one, know your audience. How many people have been to Whole Foods? Could we agree that Whole Foods does not sell the same items that 7-Eleven sells? Right. And if they tried to sell what 7-Eleven sold, would it be very successful? Absolutely not. So one of the first lessons that we want to learn when we're looking at poising ourselves to a possible employer, we want to take a look at what we're doing, and we want to say, am I really thinking about who this company is? Am I really thinking about what they want me to do? And am I really looking at presenting myself in a way to that employer that will make that person say, I got to see this person? This brings up our second point, which is aligning yourself with the best that's out there. This is one of my favorite stories in the whole world. Everybody familiar with 7-Up? All right. Back in the 1960s, 7-Up was known as what they would call a no-brand soda. And what that means is that it was at the bottom with the Shasta and the little Acme sodas, all those funny. And they thought to themselves, we're tired of being a no-brand soda. What could they do about it? So what they decided to do was they decided to look at who was the number one soda out there. Now, would I surprise any of you if I told you the number one soda back then was Coca-Cola? Probably not. Everybody knows what this is all about, Coca-Cola. This is the symbol right over here. Well, at the time, by 1967, when 7-Up said, we're going to change what we're doing, 7-Up said, what can we do that would get the masses, the teenagers, the young people, to want to buy our soda instead of buying Coca-Cola? How about if we align ourselves with Coca-Cola? And some of you may remember the pitch that they used was, we are the un-cola. It was unbelievable. Literally, within a couple of months, their sales soared 57%. And it continued to soar and continued to soar until basically they took the number 2 spot in the market. And they came out with a lot of fun things like their own version of the Coca-Cola glass. That's aligning yourself with the best. Now, how would you do that in a career? Well, truly, you would look at who the best is out there. So let's say, as an example, you're a business development director. And you're thinking to yourself, I want to go for the choice job as a business development director. Well, get on the internet. Do some research. Find out who everybody is talking about. See why they're talking about that particular person and see what about you that you have, that you could offer, that would put you in that same light. Not to imitate that person, but to align yourself with that person. Now, there's another very interesting supermarket, grocery store kind of lesson we can all use. And that's thinking about, where do we put our information on the resume? Let me ask you a question. About how much time do you think people spend looking at a resume? I will tell you, it is under 12 seconds. Under 12 seconds. In the amount of time that I just said that sentence there, someone has looked at your resume and decided whether or not it's going to go on or if it's going to be in the circular file. When you realize that it's under 12 seconds, the first thing you have to say to yourself is, what can I do so that I rise like cream to the top of the pile of people that are going to be interviewed? What you need to do is you need to think to yourself, when I'm in the cereal aisle of the grocery store, where's the most expensive cereal? I kid you not. The most expensive cereal is at eye level. That's where you want your most impressive credentials, the most impressive information that you have for that particular employer to be, right at eye level. So how do you go about doing that? Thank heaven for the computer, because it's so easy nowadays to go ahead and do a resume and tailor it and do what we call mirroring. You see a position that's open and you want to apply for it. You mirror some of the words that they say, some of the things that they want, as of course it applies to you. And you put that information front and center on the top so that it's the first thing that that possible employer will see. The other thing that you want to do too is you want to make sure that you do not have a font that is too small. This has been one of the biggest problems that I've seen over and over again. People want to jam information in, so they use this little itty bitty 6.5 font. It doesn't work. Nobody wants to look at that. Nobody. So make it at least a 12-point font, and you're going to catch their eye. So you have that information front and center. You've caught their eye, and now you're going to be the person that they're going to speak with. So there were your 3 lessons for today. Let's all think about it. You want to align yourself with the best that's out there. You want to know who your audience is. And last but not least, what do you want to do? Get a job and have everything at best eyesight level. You do these things, and I promise you, fellow Toastmasters, you will definitely get that job. Madam Toastmaster.
Rita, that was wonderful. That was very inspiring.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about you. First of all, your club that you belong to.
I belong to Aptos Club number 595 in Santa Cruz. Woohoo!
Awesome, great. And I believe that your work that you do has something to do with your speech. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What is it that you do?
I am a career consultant. I've been in the career industry since I first left college, which was a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I am right now starting a new business, Soar Hire, which is doing video resumes so that we can put little 1-minute clips out there for people that are ready, willing, and able to go out and talk about themselves.
Well, that's a way of doing away with the 16-point font, huh? Just doing a video.
That's right. Now we have a 16-point font person.
Great. Well, that's fabulous. I appreciate your speech so much, and now we're going to ask your evaluator to come up so that we can hear a little bit about what you have to say.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Evaluating Rita, let's invite Chris Pon. Chris, please come up. Chris, I need to tell you first of all that Chris is apparently an overachiever. He belongs to 5 clubs, and one of them is a San Francisco's Rhino Club. We're eager to hear your evaluation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests and viewers at home, and those who have nothing better to do. And Rita, a speech about job searching, and whether you have a job or not. She related it in a way that applies to you, and you can take those tips and give them to anyone you know that is also looking for a job. So it's applicable to everyone. It's relevant and had impact. What I was looking for was a clear demonstration without notes on how to do a process, and her expertise, which she noted right away, gave her credibility, and I was able to believe every word she said. And it didn't hurt that she said it very clearly, too. What I liked about Rita was that she paused every time she came to a main point. She built up to things like say, okay, we got to align us with the employer. We got to do this, so that I got to see this person, is what they say. Or, we are the Uncola. Pause. Very effective. What I also liked was that she brought out a visual, of course, of a demonstration, rather short, but a clear difference in you're literally comparing apples to oranges, and you want to be sure you're comparing apples to apples or getting yourself in front of that right employer. What I would want her to do, though, was with this visual, it was kind of short, and she just put this down and then started talking again. I would like her to pause a little bit more, take it in so that the camera could take it in too, because what she said was, everyone knows the symbol of Coke. And I'm thinking, red bottle, red, but there's nothing on there. Where is it on there? I don't see it. I don't have the camera to zoom in on it, so I want some time to see that. Okay? What I also would like her to do is circle back to these visuals. There was so little time spent on them, and we're wanting to see more of it. So at the end, perhaps, when you have aligned yourself with the employers, circle back to that. Or say something at the end that if you do this, you will not be like 7-Up, but you will be just like the employer that you want to be in front of. Something to that effect. Overall, though, it was very informative, and in particular, I did like your pauses, Rita, and the next time that you go into a job search, or I go into a job search, or anyone here goes into a job search, I hope that increases their chances.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was very, very helpful. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you. Now we're going to have the opportunity to listen and see an interview with Sheryl Roush. Sheryl is actually a distinguished Toastmaster. She's also an accredited speaker. We're looking forward to seeing what she has to say in the interview.
If you would look at each other right now and say, yep, I'm a spark. Yep, I'm a spark. I love Toastmaster audiences. We are the best. No, we really are, because all it takes is a spark to rekindle that.
I do professional coaching, whether it is for marketing, consulting, publishing, because now I've written 13 books and own a publishing company, as well as professional speaking and media interview skills for clients including the San Diego Chargers.
My icebreaker, how many O's did you have in your icebreaker? Holler it out. How many did you have? 45. 45? Did you really, Tony? Thank you for sticking with the program. Mine was only 19.
I've been referred to as the poster child of Toastmasters because my first 3 speeches, I cried. I had tears flooding down my face, not of joy, definitely of nervousness. And thanks to what I've learned in this organization and all the loving and support, I've been able to turn that around, where today I speak in front of groups of thousands of people and keynote close big conferences. It's been a world of good in helping me to find who I am and enhance my own communication and leadership skills. I would not be doing what I'm doing today, nor at the caliber, had it not been for Toastmasters International.
Sparkle Dude Booster number 2. Have only positive thoughts toward yourself and others.
Sparklitude came as a result of seeing that people needed to have more of a positive attitude in their lives. So Sparklitude really means having a sparkling attitude. And it comes from experiences in my own life of having a tragic beginning and now turning it around to help serve others, including individuals and organizations.
Remember how we used to hear garbage in, garbage out? Do you remember hearing that? They lied. It's not true. It's garbage in, garbage sticks. Be really careful what you allow into your subconscious mind. Guard it. That is your supercomputer. And besides that, any day above ground is a good day.
I'm often asked why I joined this organization. I thought it was to become a better employer for those people who worked in my business. I thought that the feedback and the evaluation process that I could learn would be very beneficial to them. I did not know it would make me not only a more effective communicator, but also a better leader, not only in my business, but in my community and in my world.
Now, I know it's powerful in our program that we give feedback. We give positive feedback. I don't even use the word criticism, because Will Rogers once said that it's literally putting your thumb down on someone else. In our organization, we don't put people down, we build them up. We build people.
Toastmasters really changed my life. I had no idea what was in store. As a result of the path that I've taken and how I've really embraced this program, it's made me a better human being and really focused on service to the entire world. It's changed my life, and it'll change anyone else's life who comes into our organization, and we welcome them.
Hello and welcome back. We are just about to hear our second speaker speak this evening, and that is Earl Wong. Did I get that correct? I did. Right. Wonderful. Earl is going to be speaking. The title of his speech is Public Speaking, Where I Was, Where I Am Now. Earl, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today I would like to illustrate to the audience the evolution of my public speaking skills. I'd like to do this by providing two different responses to the same question. My first response will illustrate my public speaking skills from several years ago, before I knew about any of the tricks of the trade. My second response will illustrate my public speaking skills as they are today. Hopefully, the juxtaposition of these two responses, response 1 and response 2, will help illustrate the power of effective public speaking. So let me begin with my first response, and this is a response I would have given several years ago to a question. Earl, what do you think of that movie, Any Given Sunday? Any Given Sunday, that's a movie about football. It stars Al Pacino and Cameron Diaz. It illustrates the violence of the sport, and it's a really nice movie to watch. In addition, it also discusses the element of leadership and the importance of leadership on a team. At the very end of the speech, the coach gives a very good motivational speech to the team. I liked it so much, I actually printed it out from the internet, and I wanted to read a bit of it to you. Here's how it goes. You find out that life is a game of inches, and so is football. Because in any game, life or football, the margin of error is so small. Half a second too slow or too fast, and you don't catch the ball. Now, the inches that we need are all around us. And on this team, we fight for those inches, and so forth. It's really a great movie, and I think that you should go and watch it. That would have been my response several years ago without any knowledge of public speaking. So let me now give you my second response after having learned some things about public speaking. Earl, what did you think of that movie, Any Given Sunday? Any Given Sunday. What a wonderful name for a movie about football. Because in football, on any given Sunday, any one team can beat any other team. This is a movie about football and the violence of the sport. Bodies crash into each other and players get seriously injured. It's also a movie about leadership and the importance of it. With great leadership, a team can achieve great things. However, without good leadership, it doesn't matter how talented your team is, you will never be able to succeed. Now, in the end of the movie, the coach gives this great motivational speech to his team. So imagine this. There's a locker room full of players, and all week long, the team has practiced just horribly. In their last game, the team has lost by a score of 32-7. Now, what can a coach say to motivate his team before stepping out onto the field several minutes before the first playoff game? Let's listen in. You find out that life is a game of inches, and so is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. Half a second too fast or too slow, and you don't catch the ball. Now, the inches that we need are all around us. They're in every break of the game, they're in every minute, and they're in every second. And on this team, we fight for those inches. We fight for those inches because we know when we add up all those inches, it's going to make the difference between winning and losing. And I'll tell you this, it's the guy who's willing to die fighting for those inches who's going to win those inches. And if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for those inches. Because that's what life is. the 6 inches in front of your face. Now I can't make you do it. You gotta look around you. Look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you'll see someone who's willing to go that inch with you. I think you'll see someone who's willing to sacrifice himself for this team because he knows at some later date in time, you will do the same for him. That, gentlemen, is a team. And either we come together now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football. That's all it is. So what's it going to be? Now, hopefully, you're able to see some differences between my first presentation and my second presentation. I learned about some of these techniques when I learned about effective public speaking. Now, when I first practiced these techniques, I made a lot of mistakes. So I practiced them some more, and they've gotten better. I've come a long way, but still, I have a ways to go. In these 5 to 7 minutes, I hope that you've been able to observe the power of effective public speaking. I hope that you now are also motivated to take your public speaking to the next level. Thank you very much. Now I'm Toastmaster.
Shall we walk over this way?
Sure.
As I ask you a little bit about that wonderful speech, thank you. That was so motivational. Can you start and tell us a little bit about how you acquired these skills, and that is, tell us about which club you belong to.
I belong to Cisco Speaks
Okay, and how long have you been a member?
for several years now.
For several years. Wow, it sure shows. What an inspiration. I was wondering, are you really into football? Is that where that came from?
I was looking for a good motivational speech to give. And I saw the movie and I thought, that was a good one to give.
That was great. I really love the way that you got into character. So you can be quite a ham, I think. Is that true?
No, maybe. I'm not sure about that.
That's great. And so now where are you working at which level in Toastmasters? I'm curious. You're quite proficient.
I completed my Advanced Communication Bronze,
Yes.
and this is my first speech for Advanced Communication Silver out of
excellent.
the Public Relations Manual.
Wonderful. Good for you. That's wonderful. I just finished silver myself, so boy, that took some push. But I wish all the very best to you.
Okay.
What is the second manual that you're speaking from?
The second manual.
Well, you do 2 at a time. 5 from each one. Which is the other?
I haven't decided yet. The first one is Public Relations, like I said, and there's 2 other ones. I think one is Management or Speeches that Management
I think
gives.
so. Yes, I think so. Right.
And
right.
I was looking at, but I haven't really decided which the second manual is yet.
I see. Great. And so you have been in the Bay Area for a while and at Cisco for a while?
Actually, Cisco's an open club.
Oh,
and
yes, I didn't know
And
that.
I'm actually not, I don't work at Cisco, I work at Sony.
Oh.
But the nice thing about Cisco is that, Cisco Speaks, is that we get members from all around the area.
Perfect. I didn't realize it was an open club. Listen, I thank you so much for speaking. I learned a lot and I found it great. We're going to ask your evaluator to come on right now to give you a shout out or tell you how you did. Thanks so
Great.
much.
Thank you.
And I just went, hello, evaluator, and you know what?
you.
I was memorizing your name and I just went south on it.
David Kohls.
David Kohls. Now, this is the interesting about David. I remember this. He has a night hat and he has a day hat. So by day, you are?
I'm an insurance agent.
That's not what you said. You said you were the governor, the area governor, aren't
That's
you?
my nighttime thing.
Oh, that's your nighttime.
I hope anyway.
So your daytime is insurance and your
Yes.
nighttime is governor. Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you so much. We look forward
Thank
to
you.
your evaluation.
My pleasure. Thank
Thanks.
you. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm all fired up. Unfortunately, I don't do a very good Pacino. So you're going to have to put up with me trying to do an Eric Wong. Eric inspired us. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, people in the audience. I think you're probably fired up after you heard that speech just like I am. Now, what Eric was doing was the first speech in the PR manual. And the challenge in that speech is to promote this organization, Toastmasters. He did it very well in an indirect way. He told us how he has evolved from someone who is quite analytical and stiff and wasn't getting into people's space when answering a question, and then took us into the locker room, into the movie. He became Al Pacino. Pretty good accomplishment for a few years as a Toastmaster, I'd say. However, small quibble, but the stated objective of the speech is actually to promote the organization. After hearing this speech and seeing the way he's developed his speaking skills, you can see why Toastmasters as an organization with several 100,000 members worldwide. It's an organization that's extremely successful, and it's powered by volunteers like Eric, who get in roles like these and inspire other people to do more speaking and to develop their skills. You've heard a lot of great speakers today, in fact. He's just another one of them. That being said, he didn't mention the organization. He didn't introduce himself to the audience. These are things that could have added some structure to the speech and let everybody know what was going to happen. I'm going to tell you about my journey as a Toastmaster, how I benefited from this organization. These are elements that could have added some structure and would have been more to the purpose. Now, I'm never one to get stuck with a manual, but he can't get full points if he hasn't done the things that are the standard routines, like in the Olympics. Do some beautiful backflips, but don't hit all the fixed numbers. That being said, anything that can make someone get as passionate about gathering inches, adding them up to yards, that's a really great speech. I would say the speech itself was a touchdown. Thank you. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so very much.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate that. It was wonderful. Well, I think that we've all had an opportunity to learn quite a bit today. I remember when I started Toastmasters, and I believe I was giving my second speech, I asked the person who introduced me, what should it be about? And that person said something very wise. I always refer to it when I'm thinking of subjects. They said, you know, the people who come to Toastmasters are generally people who are interested in improving themselves. They're people who are curious. They're people who always want to make better of themselves and others around them. And I remember that. It resonates in my head every time. I think the speeches that we heard tonight are perfect. Again, they're life lessons. And that is something that we really appreciate about it. If you want to find out more about our district, please make sure that you check out the website d4tmdet.org and find out more about what's happening in our District 4. We'd love to have you come join us here sometime. Thank you so much. It's just been wonderful. And I'd like to invite everyone else to come up with me now. You've done a great job, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.